On March 29th, 1984, Baltimore Colts owner Robert Irsay had a friend load all of the team's equipment into 10 Mayflower moving trucks and had them drive to Indianapolis in the middle of the night, avoiding major highways so they could relocate before the Maryland government had a chance to stop them. Thus began the Indianapolis Colts, a team that was technically named after Maryland's connection to the Preakness Stakes and its history of horse farming. So what's it like rooting for a team that finally landed one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, but only won one Super Bowl? Let's find out. I'm Dan Hopper, and this is Thrill of Defeat. Our first guest wrote for the Roast of Tom Brady and the ESPY Awards, among many other credits. She's also performed on The Tonight Show and Conan. Please welcome Megan Gailey. Megan, thanks so much for being here.
Hi, Dan. Thank you.
Megan also has a 3-month-old child, so I have no idea what kind of awake mental state she'll be in, but we'll all be entertained by it.
Yeah, a 3-month-old child whose middle name I did try and make Tyrese or Reggie, which was vetoed by my husband.
Okay.
So, I'm for real.
Is your husband a Colts fan too, or no?
He is now because they're winning, and because Cam Bynum, my husband's Filipino and loves dancing, and Cam Bynum's Filipino and loves dancing. So, but he was like, I can't do these white boy quarterbacks that are bad with you. Like, this is just too much. But now, sort of by default, he has come to the dark side with me.
But he didn't have his own fandom that clashed.
No.
Okay, good. Okay.
No, I actually have a joke about my husband being like the worst sports fan of all time because he just fucking flips around. He's like, sometimes he's with LeBron. Like, he's on his like 7th NBA team. He's from Erie, Pennsylvania. And I know you're Pittsburgh. So like, you have a fandom. Erie is like in between Cleveland, in between Pittsburgh, close enough to Buffalo. Mm-hmm. And so he's a front runner, and because of that, I'm convinced he's going to cheat on me at any moment.
Yeah, with someone from Mercyhurst hockey or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Eerie reference. Thanks so much for being here. And our other guest today is a comedian who's been on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. He's been on Conan. He's been a bunch of other places. What?
The same credits.
Yeah. It is Megan Gailey again, playing a character. Hello, I'm other Megan. No. Sorry. His stand-up special, Thakkar Noir, is available on YouTube now, and he just recorded a full-length parody of the song Mr. Jones by the Counting Crows, with lyrics about Daniel Jones, the Colts quarterback, and all of the Colts players. Please welcome Tom Thakkar. Tom, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to talk about the Colts. It's funny, Gailey, you said that you guys almost gave your newest son the middle name Tyrese. We legitimately were going to name our son Pascal if the Pacers won the championship. Like, legitimately. And Tony, my wife, was very set on it.
Yeah, so my 3-month-old, this ended up not being his name, but I was like, his name is going to be Edge. Like, we were going to name him Edge.
Yeah, you texted me that, and I was like, this is kind of insane.
And multiple people in my life were like, you cannot do that. And I was like, yes, I can. And they were like, you can't name your son Edgerrin. And I said, I didn't say I was naming him Edgerrin. I said I was naming him Edge. Gold teeth to gold jacket, my baby.
But this is what pets are good for. Like, we named our cat Reggie, and
yes. Yeah,
the next one might be named like Tyrese.
I mean, my 3.5-year-old son, his middle name is Jalen after Jalen Rose. Beautiful. So it's like I gotten some. I just can't get them all done.
That's like normal enough though, that it's like subtle. Whereas like if it's Edge, well, first of all, if it's Edge, your whole life you're correcting people that you're not a huge U2 fan. Right.
That's true.
Which I
the Edge. Yeah.
I don't even know that that's the person in you.
Running back from the late '90s, you idiot. Yeah.
It'd be funny if his middle name was The Edge.
It was still Edgerrin James. It's like, sure. I really think it seems like you're a U2 fan. No. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here to talk about the Indianapolis Colts, a team that has kind of gone from, pretty nondescript early in my life to banner franchise in the NFL that was on primetime every single week for 20 years when Peyton Manning was there. So I guess we'll start at the beginning. Where did you guys grow up, and how did you first become a fan of Indiana sports?
Take it away, Tom.
Oh yeah. I'm from Bloomington, Indiana, about 50 miles south of Indianapolis. And my first sports memory, it's coming up in the old document here. But my first sports memory is watching the Colts in the AFC Championship against the Steelers,
Oof.
where it's the
Yeah,
first time
well, all right. That's
my
the studio,
mom was
that's the
really
studio audience, not me. Sorry.
yeah. My mom was it was the first time my family was like excited about sports, and I became addicted after this. But I just remember watching that ball land on our receiver's stomach in the end zone and watching it roll off in the Hail Mary in the end. And I was addicted from then on, and I was my first heartbreak, and I was hooked. But and then Pacers kind of took over for me big time. But that '95 year that the Colts became the focus of my house.
It's very funny that like a horribly painful memory addicted you to sports.
I know,
Because
yeah.
that
Well,
is so much what sports is, right?
it
You're just
really
like,
is
I love
most
this
of it.
feeling. What is this addiction? Yeah.
The feeling right before that, and then just the obsessing. And it's funny to think now of like now we have Twitter or X or Threads or whatever, and social media to go and look at people refocusing on it again and like going over the moment and how stupid it was and how much it hurts and the other fan base rubbing in your face. Back then, it was literally just you watched it again on the news and you just sulked in your room and were like, why did that happen? You just saw the ball laying on his stomach. You're like, all he had to do was grab it, man. What are you doing?
We also now have instant replay,
Yeah.
which the Colts would have won that game because if you remember, the Steelers receiver stepped out of bounds and then came back in, and it was the first person to touch the ball when he caught a touchdown, which would not be allowed now. So if you believe in history and justice, the Colts won that game.
And of course went on to win the Super Bowl that
Of
year.
course.
Was it the Cowboys that won that year? Who did the
Yeah, it
Steelers?
was like the latter era
yeah.
Barry Switzer Cowboys, but they still were loaded with Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
But
Bill
yeah.
Cowher actually, I was performing at Caroline's on Broadway in New York, and Bill Cowher was in the audience.
Wow.
And I didn't find out until after my set. They said he laughed at me, but if I knew he was there, I would have given him the business for ruining my childhood.
This is 30 minutes of quality comedy. Excellent job. Just doing his jaw the whole time, but like enjoy. But that's how he enjoys things. Yeah.
That's like someone you want to know is there ahead of time. Like I'm like, tell me any athletic like stars. Don't tell me anyone in the industry.
Yes.
Like I don't need to know if like a manager or booker is there. I do need to know if CC Sabathia is there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that'll change my set drastically.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Oh man, I do 10 minutes ripping on CC Sabathia. This is gonna be awkward. Yeah, Megan, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana, 3-1 heaven. Born and raised in like the northeastern suburbs of Indianapolis, but very much mailing address Indianapolis.
Cool. And what are some of your earliest memories of rooting for either the Colts or just Indiana sports in general?
Yeah, so my parents are both from Niagara Falls, New York, and were diehard Bills fans. And so a lot of my earliest memories are of watching the Bills lose Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. And the first Colts game I was ever taken to was a Bills Colts game. And there were two Bills fans who were so drunk. This is when the Bills were amazing and the Colts were awful.
Like early 90s?
This was Jeff George was the quarterback. Yeah. So the Bills were great. These guys were so drunk and they had this giant Bills blanket that they kept holding up so no one behind them could see, including us. And then I remember at one point I think it was halftime. They went and walked around or went to go get more drinks, and then like we're gone for so long that someone hid their blanket, and so when they came back, they were just like, "Where's that blanket?" And the Colts lost, but it felt like a win. So that was that's the first game I ever went to. My parents actually moved to Indianapolis the same weekend that the Colts did, and so like
Wow.
so much of like our Indianapolis lore is like tied to them, it feels like.
Did
And
they catch a ride on the semi
they used the
the team
Mayflower.
got taken in?
They used the Mayflower. There was a drunk person involved. When the Bills lost their fourth Super Bowl in a row, that's when my dad was just like, I actually like cannot do this anymore. And the Colts were so bad at that point that he was like, at least I know what I'm getting. And we had Colts season tickets, Pacers season tickets, multiple races I've gone to. Like we go real hard. We're all like diehard Fever fans now. You're gonna like, I'm sure you've had people from like real big cities on here, and it's like we don't have anything else. Like this is what we have, and so it like being back here right now. Everyone's like, you want to come to a Colts game? You should come over and watch the Colts game. Like it's like the entire social scene is sports here.
I miss that so much. I wish I was back for just that.
It's really great.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, where I grew up, is similar, where it's just like everyone's wearing the gear at all times, and then the city is like noticeably affected when the Steelers play. When the Steelers play, there's no traffic, the mall is empty. Whereas, in New York, like there's as many Giants fans as there are Steelers fans, but there's so many non-Giants fans. The city is like imperceptibly different. Whereas like, these cities, I imagine Indianapolis the same way. It's like you feel it so much more.
No, same with LA. And even though, obviously
definitely.
the Lakers and the Dodgers everybody goes crazy, but it's like you wouldn't know from the traffic and all that stuff. It's a different world. Whereas, Indiana is very much locked in.
I remember when LA was hosting a Super Bowl and I had to tell every single person I knew that week. Like I was like, the Super Bowl is here tomorrow. And they were like, what? And like when the Super Bowl was in Indianapolis, I mean, the Colts weren't in it. Eli was, so it felt sort of like familial, but it was like, we prepared for that for years. Like I drove down from Chicago just to be in the city. Because
they like changed the laws and stuff for the city. Like you can drink in public now because the Super Bowl came there.
Murder is legal tonight.
I mean, you can have a gun
rules
anywhere.
In effect.
You can have a gun anywhere here.
You can stab whatever former Jets quarterbacks.
Anyone in a Patriots jersey, just everything's legal. Yeah, purge for specific jersey is in effect. Yeah, Pittsburgh has the NFL draft next year, and it's like hotels are booked already. It's like, I know the infrastructure is different than New York or LA too, but it gives the sports a different, like a more palpable feeling than a bigger city where it's part of a bigger thing. So in general, how big are the Colts in the like hierarchy of Indiana sports? Because I know Indiana kind of has the reputation of like basketball mecca. And I remember, like we were saying, the Colts were really bad in the early 90s, but then they had this whole Peyton Manning period. Are they the biggest team in Indiana now, or how do they fit in compared to, Pacers, College, Fever, et cetera?
What do you think, Megan? Because I have thoughts for sure.
I know. I was going to say the same thing. Of like, I can't wait to hear what Tom says. College sports are huge here. It's not SEC football level, but like people, when you go to the airport, that's where I judge all of my fashion. And you see mostly January 6 shirts. And then you see IU, Purdue, Notre Dame, Butler. The Fever are huge right now. And then the fandom goes as the winning goes. So like when the Pacers were great in the 90s, that was the biggest thing. And there's been some overlap where like the Pacers were really good, the Colts were really good, and that's like massive. Oh my god, it gave me chills. Where you have like playoff runs for both of them happening in the same calendar year. I would say because of what the Pacers just did, that was massive. But then because it ended so tragically, I think this Colts season came in pretty ho-hum, but definitely like a necessary palate cleanser. And because they're winning now, the Colts are really big. So like Blue Friday is a thing. Like when I take my kid to school here, a lot of people are wearing Colts jerseys on Friday. But it, for as diehard as fans are, they can be a little fair weather. And some of that is actually very tied to racism. Where like when the Pacers post Malice, there was like a few weeks where everyone was like, yeah, we were right. And then there started to be like some other issues within the team. Jamal Tinsley had like some stuff. And then everyone was like, I hate this team. I don't like what they're doing. And it was like, oh, okay, it feels like you're being kind of racist. And I think Anthony Richardson's tenure has brought out the bad part of that as well too.
Yeah, I a lot of what you said, that's exactly what I was. The college thing, especially, there is just a level of like, and I don't live there anymore, so I see it when I go back, and I see it within family members and stuff like that, where you just see a distaste for the pro teams, especially like I think it's rooted mostly in racism stuff, but like I do think there's a level of like they get paid to play with a ball and they're kneeling and all that shit, and it's but I noticed because I'm for me the Pacers are number one and then the Colts are right there and then college sports is below. But I was telling people in Indiana, I was like, the Pacers are in the playoffs right now and they're really good. And they were like, oh yeah, I guess we can watch the game. Like they didn't seem to care as much as I would have hoped.
Yeah.
And then
college sports are just better at fundamentals.
Like, yes, they're playing for the love of the game. Yeah. They're not flashy.
There's
every
also
guy
this, like,
in the NBA can make every shot.
The NFL is a more popular sport in the nation.
Yes.
That's
exactly,
just and so goes Indiana.
So I think that's how I feel. Is like I think that Indiana likes the Colts more than they care about the Pacers, but I think it's because the nation is like that, and it's it is part of an NBA branding problem too, where they're just not good at marketing themselves, and it sucks because the product is so fucking good right now, and people will tell you it's all threes and nobody plays defense, and I'm like, watch the Pacers. They pass the ball fucking 30 times. Sorry, I don't know the language.
Yeah, you can swear.
Okay, cool. I'll try to limit it.
And we let the one person who shouldn't be shooting threes go in free agency.
But it's just the way that basketball gets talked about on the professional level, especially in Indiana, when we have a team that's so fun and plays the game in such a fun way where they move the ball really well. It gets talked about like it's the disgusting product and it makes me sick. But football is I still think it's king. And then as bad as IU basketball is and as good as Purdue basketball is, I think that still somehow takes precedence over the Pacers, which again drives me nuts.
I will say, Dan, I know we've been talking, I know this is a Colts specific podcast, but when you reached out, we did discuss maybe doing the Pacers, and Tom and I both agreed that we were not mentally and like emotionally ready to do that. And so that is what you're hearing bleed in right now. Like we are so hurt, and it's actually like so traumatic.
I really can't. The Netflix show is coming out about this season of the NBA, and they followed Tyrese, and it's like, I don't think I can watch it. It's going to make me sick.
People were like, "Did you see this Johnny Furphy dunk?" And I was like, "I can't."
And now he's hurt.
I don't know. He's hurt.
Whatever. It's tough, but I love the game. But I do think Colts football. I still think is probably number one, because even when they were all talking about when they were so down on Anthony Richardson and everything, they still watched. I think everybody's still watching the Colts every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but college sports does rank above it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just not for us, because we are evolved, educated.
I just can't stand when people do that stuff where they're like, they play the game the right way in college. It's like they're so much worse watching college basketball. And I don't get me wrong. I've been watching ever since we got Signetti. I watch college football now. It's fun. We're a football state again, and or a college football state for the first time with IU at least. And there's fun in it. And I watch Indiana basketball, but it's not as good of a product as the NBA. No. It's just not. It's impossible for it to be. They're much better athletes in the NBA. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's just people repeating the same criticisms from like 30 years ago.
Exactly.
And it is vaguely, it's not racist, but it's like racial adjacent, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, it's when someone says, "Oh, I don't like the NBA," I'm like, "That's a dog whistle."
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Me. Like I'm like, I know what you're saying.
They take so many steps. They travel on every play. Just
And
like,
like,
no, they don't. What do you, who
my
cares?
dad used to say it. Like, I know there's gonna be people listening to this say it, and it's like that's fine. You can say it. Just know that we are judging.
Yeah, this is a very judgmental podcast. So I mean, go.
It is
absolutely
true though.
go for
In
it.
college, they just think more when they play.
But it's also like they get paid.
They scored 38 points. Yeah,
they get paid now. They should be paid. They should have been being paid. Like it's all the fucking same now. And they actually they have more free agency than professional athletes do. So if you like,
careful, they don't like that. The college fans don't like that. It's why Indiana's good now.
Good. Yes,
that's why high school is really the best game. Really,
yes,
I mean, the high school players are better at fundamentals.
Friday night lights,
travel.
Yeah, you want to see a great pure basketball game? Go to the YMCA. There's a league. It's 7 through 9. It's 7-year-olds through 9-year-olds. They're playing the right way.
7-year-olds, they can't dunk. They have to think the game. They play defense. They hustle.
Yes.
They get pizza afterwards. Yeah.
They don't. Yeah. They're playing for the pizza. All right. And I'm technically not allowed to be within 500 feet of it. But it's a beautiful game.
I could see from here with my binoculars. No one traveled because they're well coached. Anyway. So back to the Colts.
Yes.
Yeah. When I think about the Colts, yes, like you mentioned the 1995 AFC Championship game. I feel like that for me as a non-Colts fan, that's the first time I really remember them being on the national stage. And Jim Harbaugh was their quarterback. They go on a run. They play the Steelers in the AFC Championship game. As you mentioned, really lucky game for the Steelers. They you mentioned the out of bounds thing. On the last drive, Neil O'Donnell threw a pass that someone broke in and was going to take it for a pick six and then just bobbled it. Like it was like he like undercut a pass and was just going to run in the end zone, but bobbled it and dropped it.
Classic fucking
Steelers
Colts.
Came back and scored. And then the Colts on the last drive threw a Hail Mary that was in the receiver's arms in the end zone, but then dropped to the ground. And I remember, you talk about not reliving things, but I do remember Sports Illustrated's cover story was called Good to the Last Drop. And it had like a picture of the ball laying on the ground. And I also remember my dad, who hated Bill Cowher, like everyone in Pittsburgh did at the time, but now everyone pretends Cowher's a god and they hate Tomlin. I remember he was like, luckiest team in football, the Steelers, you luckiest coach. And they kind of were pretty lucky, but
mad at your own team for winning.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you remember about the 90s pre-Manning Colts for the most part? What stands out from that era? Marshall Faulk was there. You mentioned Jeff George, who everyone hated.
It feels like such a blip to me. I'll be honest, because in your doc here, it's like, do you remember watching the draft? And it's like, I just don't. I have such a bad memory for the pre-Manning Colts. It felt like it jumped straight from that AFC Championship to like, all right, now we're really bad with Peyton Manning, and then all of a sudden, what it became. So I don't have a ton of I just remember the Harbaugh and Falk jerseys everywhere, but it felt so short-lived with Falk. And it's like I loved watching him, but most of my memories of Falk are with the Rams, and I thought he was awesome. I loved that Greatest Show on Turf team that he was a part of. It was with Kurt Warner. It was fun, but my memories of him as a Colt are like gone.
Colts traded him to the Rams. He won the Super Bowl
in 2000 against the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah,
that was
the tackle on the goal line.
Yes, which is referenced in Castaway.
That's right.
I think of that as the Castaway Super Bowl.
If he got one more yard, Helen Hunt would have been so much happier in that. But we'll never know. She's like, at least this eases my pain from my husband disappearing on that island. We're like, I don't need to see the scene. Like, this is could probably cut this one. Anyway.
I always remind people Marshall Faulk was on the Colts because everyone else seems to forget. I remember the Hoosier Dome. That was the stadium, which then was the name was changed to the RCA Dome, and it was sick. Like it was like it was like so loud that things were falling from the ceiling. Like it was just like a old stinky stadium. And our high school football team would play our rival high school football team every like the Wednesday before Thanksgiving there, which was like very cool.
Yeah.
And so it just everything felt like more accessible then. Like I just remember going downtown, we'd go to Union Station, and then we would go to Colts games, but we were going to a fair amount of Colts games, even in that like bad era. And maybe that's why we were going, because we were kids and they were bad. So they were like, oh yeah, we'll bring our children. Who cares?
Yeah.
And I remember Jeff George. I grew up in this area called Geist, which is like where a lot of athletes end up living. And so I like remember where his house was. And I remember everyone always making fun of him because he got hurt once and his mom ran on the field and everyone was like, you know, what a baby. And like, as a mom now, I'm like, yeah, of course she did. You think she's just going to stand there while her baby is like concussed on the ground? Like, what sort of monsters are you? And that's really all I recall of that era. And like, but Harbaugh was massive. Like, I remember let her rip. Let her rip was like, is like burned in my brain. That was the phrase that I believe Jim Mora was saying to him, whoever the offensive coordinator was saying to him before every game of that playoff run. So much so that then there was a book called Let Her Rip that was written by my dad's friend that was like still on my bedside table to this day. Wow. So even though it is kind of a blip for me too, like the foundation of my insanity is probably from that time.
Yeah, I remember Jeff George. I just remember everyone hating Jeff George and me not.
And
really
he's from Indianapolis.
Really?
Like, it was like you're a hometown guy, and everyone was mean.
Yeah, I don't know. And then he went to the Vikings, and everyone was like, we still hate him. He throws the ball well, but screw it. We hate. And I'm just like, why does everyone hate this guy so much? I guess he like whined and
2 first names.
Yeah,
Hateable name. Jeff George, pick one, man.
Or maybe it was the mom thing. I don't know.
It was the mom thing.
People are just like, he's soft.
People hate
and
moms.
Like, they forgot why. Probably. This guy has a mom. I know. Yeah. This guy sucks. Yeah. They turned on Donovan McNabb years later when those chunky soup commercials are out. It's like, we hate this guy. So, well, let's get to what we're all paying for here. 1998 draft. The Colts finished dead last. They have the first overall pick. I don't know if people remember, but there was a real who are they going to take toss up at the time between Peyton Manning from Tennessee and the rising Washington State quarterback Ryan Leaf.
Yeah.
And it's like a joke now to think about, but it really was like, who are they going to pick? Like it was like and everyone had their own opinions, and they take Peyton Manning. It works out pretty well. Ryan Leaf, the Chargers traded like their whole draft to move up to pick him, and he lasted 1 season, I think. So Peyton Manning from Tennessee gets drafted. They go 3-13 in his first year, so still struggling. But then they proceed to make the playoffs 11 of the next 12 seasons. He wins the MVP 4 times. He makes it to 4 AFC title games, 2 Super Bowls, and 1 Super Bowl win. He's third all-time in passing yards and TDs in NFL history. He won another Super Bowl later with the Broncos.
Did he?
Yeah, that's not part of our timeline.
If you can't recognize an AI video when you see it,
that won't be going in our history.
No hope
books.
in this media ecosystem. Yeah. So, what do you remember about the Peyton Manning draft year, and when did you start to realize, like, okay, we really have something special here?
Man, that's a good question. Gailey, what do you think? Because for me, it wasn't until I was playing with. I remember playing for the Colts
in
when I played for the Colts, I was actually
like, man, this guy's passes hurt my hands. He's pretty good. Yeah.
No, I remember like it was video games that I was playing with the Colts in maybe QB Club. It was like and I was like, wait a second, this is fun. Like, they're actually good.
His ratings are in the green. Wait a minute. This isn't normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember all of the controversy, or not the controversy, like the who is it going to be, leading up to it. And I remember my dad like telling me about who Peyton Manning was and sort of like explaining the family lore, like that his dad had played. And then at some point, I realized that his dad was on a terrible team that never won. And I was like, well, then I don't understand why we like need him so badly. Because I definitely like, I don't know that I ever watched him play at Tennessee, but like pictures of him in a Tennessee uniform and like winning Tennessee games is definitely like burned in my memory. 3-13 also vivid.
Yeah.
Like I think even then, though they went 3-13, almost immediately it felt like everyone knew it was the right thing. I met Ryan Leaf at a kid's birthday party a few years ago.
Wow.
And I didn't know who he was at first. Like we were chatting and then he like said a few things that I was like, wait. And then I go, wait, what is your name? And he was like, Ryan Leaf. And I was like, you're Ryan Leaf. Like I must have screamed it. And he couldn't have been more lovely. He's a dad. Like I think he's very open about like all the crazy shit that happened. And so there's definitely a real human touchstone for me now that I've met him. And it's not just like, oh, like he was a bust. I also like went to the rival high school of Greg Oden and like knew him as a teen.
Yeah.
And so like some of these things that I think end up being like punchlines to a lot of people, you're like, oh, that's a person and that fucking sucks.
Right.
You know, like that's hard for that to be your like public legacy when you live and go on to be like a husband, a father, all that. And then it feels like those tough Peyton years were brought up a lot during like these Anthony Richardson kind of like tough early years. But so much of even when you're like reading those stats, it's like, yeah, we got one Super Bowl and that's like big, but I think we all know it should have been more. So
I think
even
that's
though
like it's still tinged with pain. Like to think of those years, I just remember some of the worst years of my life where I was like going through a broken engagement in my early 20s and I was just drinking alone at Applebee's watching the Colts lose to the fucking Chargers when we were so much better, and watching Darren Sproles run for 200 yards and he's 5'3", and I was just so mad.
The curse of Ryan Leaf. Yeah.
Yep.
Being like up. Shut out by the Jets at home.
The Chad Pennington Jets.
I was at that game, and that's
and then watching how bad it wasn't. Like, oh, it's their year. It's like, no, they suck, and they suck.
No, they're
I
bad.
believe the next game. It was so.
And I end up, because we have family in Buffalo, I know a lot of Bills fans, and I tell them a lot. I'm like, you will beat the Chiefs. Like it feels so much, because I mean, we're talking about Chargers, Jets, because we really don't want to talk about what the Pats did to us. Like it was like Peyton would probably have 4 or more if it wasn't for that team that just ended up being this massive, crazy dynasty in a way that sort of mirrors what the Bulls did to the Pacers. Like it feels like we've always been just like 1% below this like historical team, and that's really hard. And so when I see the Chiefs sort of doing that to the Bills in like this modern era, I'm like, you will beat them, and it will feel happen. So much better. Because
I mean, the Pacers never did it, but
I was at that AFC Championship game, and
the 2006.
Yes. Until I like had children, it's the greatest moment of my life.
Yeah.
Like by far.
Watching Joseph die across oh my God, it was so fun.
Watching that Marlon Jackson interception, and my friend married Marlon Jackson. Like I was at his wedding, and when I see him, I'm still like, you're my hero. Like you mean everything to me because of that one play.
As far as the Peyton Manning element of it, I think there is like still a little bit of, even though he won us the Super Bowl, so I can't, I can't be pissed at him. But I just still remember watching him in the playoffs. And there was, for a long time before that '06 one, it was like, we're never going to win. He has a playoff block, and he would play pretty poorly. He did this foot shuffle when he would get pressured, because he was a guy who was good at getting rid of the ball and not having to deal with pressure, and they were really good with the play action and everything. But the second if you got to him, you got to him, and he would do this foot shuffle, and you were like, he's gonna throw a pick, and every time it seemed like he did it. It was this weird like 3-step, like it was like he was running in motion but not going anywhere. It was really strange. And it was like, this guy's a playoff choker, and it's such a bummer to watch. You get so mad at him, and it's really hard to not think that's the difference between him and Brady. Is like Brady just doesn't do that. He didn't have that gene or whatever. He just was a robot. And obviously, we all have a place in our heart for Peyton Manning. He was the mayor of the city, and he got kind of done dirty. But it's hard to not think like. It was so fun to watch him in the regular season. You're like, this guy is a juggernaut. Him and Marvin Harrison. It's my favorite duo of all time. Marvin Harrison's my favorite player, even though he probably killed somebody.
Who cares?
That's such a weird addendum that gets. Yeah, because I feel like
whenever we bring him up,
people
are like, he was a murderer, and because we remember, because people always bring it up to us, and we just have to be like, okay, what? What do you want us to do?
Yeah.
They said there wasn't enough because you know why? He had a rock solid posse that would not turn on him. So let that be a lesson to younger guys. You need to get better fucking friends.
Get you a posse like Marvin.
if anything, makes him a better role model.
And he also was just like so quiet. His favorite food is candy. He would just sit on the bench like silently. Like he's not a stereotypical wide receiver.
Yes.
Definitely not a star wide receiver. Like he's the opposite of that. So for then it to be like murder, not our baby.
It was a little not funny, but it was a little jarring because for years it was always like, what a classy guy. He doesn't, you don't see him celebrating and trash talking. He just hands the ball to the ref. And
he
then
plays
it's like,
the right
maybe
way.
He killed someone. You're like, whoa, that's okay. Maybe that's worse than dancing in the end zone.
Yeah, it's much worse. But it is funny how like that is the Indiana sports fan though. You're like, I like that he doesn't showboat.
Yeah.
It's like, who gives a shit?
He killed someone very quietly. He didn't celebrate it. No,
but he was just so fast, and he was so good. He's just such a good receiver, man. He was incredible, and their connection was nuts. And same with Reggie, but
it was amazing.
Yeah, but it's tinged with like, man, it really feels like we should have won 3 with him, and we left a lot of meat on the bone.
Yeah, I feel like I know that's kind of conventional wisdom, and I think it's just true. I don't think that's like, I know as a sports fan, it's easy to be like insatiable to win one title and be like, we should have won more. But like, I literally have one of the 5-3-2 greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. Yeah. And because of him choking in the playoffs, plus aligning with Brady, he finished his career 9-10 in the playoffs with Indianapolis. I know some of that is because they would get a first round bye. So like the first game was a little tougher usually, but still they lost the Patriots in 2003 and 2004. But preparing for this podcast, I forgot some of those other ones you mentioned. They lost 41-0 to the Chad Pennington Jets.
Those ones were worse.
At home.
Yes. At least with the ones against the Pats, you're like, okay, they were the Pats. It sucks, but they were the Pats. What are you going to do? But not even getting to the Pats is the ones that really hurt, where you're like, because it just feels like such a waste of like these historic seasons he puts up, and then you get to the moment, you get a bye, and then you shit the bed immediately.
Well, in his defense, a lot of times people would be like, the defense is pretty bad. And like the defense was, the defensive line was actually so good. My favorite player is Dwight Freeney. Yeah. I love Robert Mathis. There were some like dogs on that line. And then you would get Bob Sanders like
was
a legend.
He was like a defensive Cam Scattaboo.
Erie, Pennsylvania's own.
Oh, nice.
And then you would get into the secondary and no one could tackle.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, okay, Chad Pennington Jets put up 41, and that's not actually Peyton's fault. The zero is Peyton's.
The zero is
certainly. The zero is Peyton's fault. But I mean, just like it was feverish fandom. Truly like nothing like what is happening right now. And nothing like what happened for this Pacers playoff run that just happened. Like, even though I was here and that like really captured the city, so I got to see it, those Colts seasons there was nothing like it, especially like when they were building Lucas Oil, when like it was just like, oh, we keep leveling up. And my favorite sports show of all time is PTI. I like watch it or listen to it every day because I'm an elderly man. And like it would almost during football season, it would be like Colts would be the one or two story every single day. And you just, I think being from this like smaller place, it just felt really cool also to be relevant on like a larger scale.
It definitely spoiled us too, and it's you just get used to being like, yeah, we're going to win 12 games. Like that's just that's the bottom line, and that's the floor. We're gonna win 12 games. We're gonna be in.
Do
the
we want to
like,
buy? Do we not want to buy?
Right?
Do we
is
want
it bad to get a buy? Maybe we don't want
like,
the rest. That's the sort of sick thoughts that we had.
That we had the privilege of having.
And then just to watch it, it was such an investment, and it was like I hadn't felt that emotionally drained by a team since, I mean, the last two Pacers seasons is the first time I felt like having that kind of hope and having it ripped away is like it where you're depressed for a week. And I forgot that football is even worse because it's one game a week, so you can't get the taste out of your mouth until like when we lost to the Rams. Even I went to the Colts Rams game and I forgot because I started to get a little hope. I made that song about Danny Dimes. I was like, I was the biggest. I'll admit it. Hand up. I was a Daniel Jones doubter, and
you were the only two. Everyone else knew he was going to be great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When they named him the starter, I was so mad. I was like, this is going to be a bust, whatever. And now it's like I will fully admit I'm all in on the Danny Jones redemption story. I think it's the coolest story in the NFL right now. It's fun to see, and he's not the only one. There's a bunch of quarterbacks that have gone through the ringer, and like Baker is a really fun one.
Yeah,
where these guys get thrown to the wolves and on bad teams as young quarterbacks, and they're treated like they're garbage. And then
we did it to Anthony Richardson. Like that's,
we didn't do it. The Colts did it, but the fans aren't doing. I mean, there are fans doing it immediately.
Yes,
I think this is going to happen for Anthony Richardson, but we'll see. I mean, he can't.
I hope it does. I hope it does.
Yeah, Geno Smith. Sam Darnold.
Exactly.
They're all
Sam Darnold
doing pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them that you're like, yeah, give these guys 6 years in the league. Let the game slow down for them a little bit, and then now you'll have a quarterback. They're not these guys that they think are legends immediately. Yeah, but I had forgotten what it was like, and that's it, like being reminded of that feeling that we felt every week of football season for a decade. Like it's interesting.
I would have to like boycott TV. Like I would just be like, oh, if the Colts lost, which happened sometimes only twice in a whole season, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I can't watch TV for the next 3 days.
Yeah, because it's all going to be or the Colts frauds.
You can't watch like sitcoms.
No, I could have
the banner underneath the screen will be
case.
Like, oh, next Colts in peril.
Hey Chandler, did you see about the Colts? You're like, what? They wrote it in.
Well, I'm like, they're in New York.
Come on,
I don't want to think about the Giants or Jets. You know.
Yeah. So just moving back, 2006, finally, the Colts, they play the Patriots in the AFC title game. We've all seen this before, and they win 38-34. They finally get over the hump. They go to the Super Bowl to face the Lovie Smith, Chicago Bears.
The Rex Grossman Bears.
Rex Grossman, who went to my high school.
Bears.
Oh, really?
My parents bought his house. I lived in his home during that Super Bowl.
How do you have this many connections?
I know it's going to seem like I'm dropping a lot of names, and I am. I've lived a very fascinating life. Okay.
You name a forgotten quarterback, and I've interacted with them in some way.
I'm just out in the world.
I didn't know that you lived in Rex Grossman's house. That's insane.
When my parents moved from Indianapolis to Chicago, he had dropped the price a lot as trying to just like, I don't know, get
he was like I'm moving to Florida or whatever he did. Yeah.
And they bought his condo from him. And when the Colts and Bears met in the Super Bowl, we were living in his condo at that time.
Oh my God.
And my mom and dad left the home the entire day. Like they were like, we cannot even be in the house.
I mean, we owe
if
him.
if they lose, we're trashing this place, even though we own it now.
We own it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2006 Super Bowl is 07, the early
I know,
07.
very confusing.
What after they beat the Patriots, were you just like, this is our year, or were you still nervous going into that Bears game? Where did you watch the Super Bowl that year, and what was your mental state?
I was still really nervous, but I was pretty fired up. So I was in Bloomington at the time. I was going to Indiana University. I believe I was a freshman, and but I lived off campus, and I had like a little apartment where I had a party. It cost $180 a month. It was insane. It was 1963, and milk was $1, a penny.
Johnny Angel topped the charts. Yeah.
But I hosted a little party. But because I was going to Indiana University, a lot of students at IU are from Chicago. It's tons of Chicago
it's
people.
half and half.
And they were so loud all week. They were like, "Thanks so much for beating the Patriots. Now we get to win. Like, we're gonna beat you guys. That's awesome." Like, they were so like arrogant about the
Bears
fact that they
fans
didn't
are
have to
the
play
fucking worst.
And it's so funny that they're like this, because many of our dear friends are Bears fans.
Of course,
and you're like,
we love them.
why are you so arrogant? Your team is always bad.
And they're always mad at them. Like, they're arrogant and then also disgusted at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, they're true delusional psychopaths.
Yeah. So for us, I mean, I don't know how you felt, Megan, but we felt like our Super Bowl was beating the Pats. Like, that was the Super. If you talk to any Colts fan, they're like, the real Super Bowl was that AFC Championship game, because it was such a thriller. I was working at in the emergency department during that game, and I was working the front desk, and I kept sneaking to the emergency department waiting room to watch the game. And everybody in there, they're in the ER waiting room, so they're not doing well, and they were fired up, and it was so fun. It was such a weird way to watch.
Bleeding from their head, like
I would just run back and forth, and I could hear the screams of joy and agony from the hall as I'd be like, "What happened?"
Like nurses rushing in. They're like, "Oh man, I thought he had a touchdown." Yeah, sorry, it's the eighth time that's happened. Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember going into it, Bears fans, I wouldn't say they got in my head, but it was a little bit like, man, what if we do lose this game? Like, anything can happen. I think the Bears maybe defense looked scary to us at that point.
Yeah, they were good. They had Devin Hester.
And Devin Hester run
the first
opening play.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I'm pretty sure that maybe this is one of those false memories that gets implanted in your head, by RFK Jr. But it's one of those memories of like the commentary being like, the one thing they don't want to do is kick the ball to Devin Hester right now. And then they just do it, and he immediately scores. You're like, okay, well, I guess this is what it's going to be like.
I was at this podcast is just reminding me why Tom and I are like such good friends, because we're basically the same person. I was at Purdue at the time, and Purdue is geographically directly in the center of Chicago and Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. So again, mostly indie Chicago kids. So it was people were like screaming at each other, like at frat parties for the next 2 weeks. I had gone to that AFC Championship game with my older brother, who was living in Chicago at the time. And so we were like, okay, we have to watch the game together again, like superstitious. And so there was a Colts bar in Chicago called Mullins. And so I went up to Mullins. I was not 21. I was 20, but I had a really good fake ID from this girl named Amy, who I looked a lot like in my sorority. And so I went to Mullins. Mullins was a Colts bar every day of the year, except when the Bears are in the Super Bowl. And so we got there like 2 hours before, and it was all Bears fans. And then we were one Colts table, and people were mad at us. Like,
Jesus.
It ended up being the drunkest I've ever gotten in my entire life at 20 years old. I do not remember the entire second half. Like, it is gone. I ended up being thrown out of the bar. This has all been, told back to me by my older brother, who had to take care of me. I was thrown out of the bar. I went outside, saw a Chicago police car, banged on their window, and they looked up, and I opened up my jacket to show them my Colts sweatshirt and then flipped them the double bird. And then my brother had to bribe the Mullins bouncer to let me back in because he didn't want to leave. And then they made me sit in a chair in a corner. And if I tried to stand up, the bouncer would push me back into the chair. That's how I watched the most important like athletic game of my life. I don't even remember the second half of, but I was like so happy,
That's so funny.
CPD famously understanding and liking of jokes. And taunts.
It's definitely one of those like, oh, you're a white girl because you got away with this, like just harassing police.
I thought when you said it was the only Colts bar in town, I was expecting it to like. It was going to get like firebombed, like some IRA event or something.
But like then
that's true.
Next season, it's back to a Colts bar. Like it was just like, oh, the Bears are in the Super Bowl. There are no Colts bars today. Yeah. Like everything is a Bears bar, no matter what. I couldn't go to my parents' house because it was the Rex Grossman house, so they had fled to a neighbor's home. So like there was nowhere to be.
The Rex Grossman house.
Crazy to think, because I watched that game in such an opposite fashion where I had like 6 or 7 people come over and we just watched like in my little tiny shitty living room, and it was before I was drinking, so I was like fully sober, just like jacked up on cokes. And I was the most aware I've probably been for a football game in
not a great game
20 years. No, it got boring fast.
It was
like,
so
we
rainy.
just became dominant.
Dominic Rhodes should have been the MVP. Like it was kind of like a funky one.
I think Rex Grossman should have been the MVP for us because he was just so bad, and it was so satisfying to watch because the story about him, like in Bloomington, was that everybody was like, he was a huge asshole when he was here. So, and maybe it's because they were playing the Colts in the Super Bowl that people really danced it up. But
he was just bummed that he got rid of his dream apartment. He never got over it, and he just couldn't focus on the game. Yeah,
my favorite thing with him was the sound bite that they got of him in the pocket, and he just shows "fuck it, I'm going deep," and he would just throw blindly deep, and it was like he didn't have a target half the time, and he threw a lot of picks because of it. It was great.
I love that.
That's funny to call your shot, but suck.
Fuck it, I'm going deep.
Like you said, Devin Hester returned the opening kickoff 92 yards for a touchdown. And then the Bears scored again later in the first. They were up 14-6, but then halftime, the Colts went up 16-14, and then pretty much just poured it on from there. They won 29-17 was the final. So, yeah, easy to say, like, once they got past the Pets, like, easy, it was smooth sailing, but yeah, it's so easy to blow a game like that and then be like, oh my God, we blew our one chance.
And that would have been the Colts thing to do.
Yeah, totally.
That's what I was ready to happen. I was like, they very easily, when they scored that first touchdown, I was like, yep, this is the Colts that I know. This is what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, that was tough. But I do remember the AFC was like signilightly better in that era.
I mean, the fact that the Bears even got to the Super Bowl is insane.
Right.
Who did they beat to get? I don't
maybe the Saints.
Yeah, I guess that was the Breeze Saints, right?
They beat the Saints 39-14 in the NFC title game that year.
And that game, the NFC title game was before the AFC title game. So we knew that it was going to be the Bears going into that game. I watched a woman pee in a sink at an Arby's the day of the AFC title game. A lot locked up in this brain.
I was also imagining, do you ever see that movie Green Room where the band has to, they witness a murder and they have to escape the bar when everyone at the bar is like trying to kill them? It's all these white supremacists.
No, I gotta see. I've heard
Alia
it's great.
Shawkat. Yeah, crazy movie. I was just imagining that once the Colts win, Megan, you and your brother have to escape this bar of all these people trying to kill you. You're like hiding in the bathroom.
Yeah, someone threw a beer bottle at my head.
Damn, you should have picked it up and chugged it, and then
I was like, "Whatever, bitch." Like, exactly. It was definitely. I was drunk enough that I was like, I was fine.
And so the Colts go back to the Super Bowl in 2009, and then they're facing we could skip over it if you want.
No, I fucking hate Sean Payton to this day.
The 2009 New Orleans Saints, who it was years after Hurricane Katrina, but obviously
Everyone cared a
the
lot still.
media
Yeah.
loves a narrative, and it was like
Hmm.
Yeah.
they're lifting the spirits of New Orleans, and plus they were a really good, fun team with
Yeah,
really good
Yeah.
offense and Drew
they
Brees.
were.
What was it like watching the '09 Super Bowl and kind of being on the other end of the casual fan pooling for the Saints?
It was really
Yeah.
fucking frustrating, to be honest. That I lost a friend in the in the aftermath of that Super Bowl because again, like cut to it's my senior year in college, and I have these friends who are from New York and from all over the country. They don't give a shit about the Colts. They don't give a shit about the Saints. But just to antagonize me, they decide to be Saints fans that
I
week, and it
fucking hate
made
that.
me so mad. It's like the type of friends that you're like, I probably shouldn't have these people in my life if that's how their instinct is. But also, I shouldn't be so sensitive that it ruins a friendship. But we're watching the game, and all of a
I'm on your
sudden,
side. Sorry.
I am
thank
too.
you.
I
Yeah.
am
Well,
too.
Go on.
it gets dramatic because there's all this shit with that Super Bowl where it's like Katrina. Also, the Mannings are from New Orleans.
Hmm.
The Peyton Manning grew up in New Orleans, so there's a little bit of a crossover. There's also maybe he's throwing it to finally make his childhood his childhood team happy. We don't know. But also the guy who picked him off to end the game was a Hoosier. He graduated from IU. Tracy Porter, I think was his name. So you think like, oh, we've already won one. This doesn't matter as much to us. And it's like, no, this is like Peyton Manning's legacy is on the line here as a Colt. You have a chance to win two. That's a different class than winning one, you know. And when he threw that pick to end the game, I was just like dejected. I just immediately went to bed. I was so mad. I got into a fight with another guy that I was just like, he was antagonizing me. He's a Giants fan who decided to be a Saints.
Oh
I was like,
God.
this doesn't make. I was like, if anything, you should be rooting for Peyton. He's Eli's
Right.
brother. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Anyways, the next day, my roommate, because the front page of the Indiana University newspaper was the kid who got the pick because he was a Hoosier, which is so stupid. It was like, you're in Indiana, though. You don't do this. They made him the front page, and my fucking roommate went and got 100 Indiana Daily Student newspapers and plastered them all over the apartment so that when I woke
That's
up,
messed
it was
up.
everywhere, and I lost my mind. And it was like, if this happened to me today, I'd be like, man, what the fuck? That's if they were like if they did that with like Tyrese Halliburton's like
No, I would lose a friend over that.
Achilles or whatever, I would be sick still, I think. But this one, it's like I screamed at it. I was like, "You don't have any fucking friends. This is why you don't have any friends. Like I'm the only guy in your life, you piece of shit." And we didn't talk for like a month. It was pretty, and we kind of never got back the same. But I'll just never. That's my memory of like waking up. I'm already pissed off that the Colts have just lost, and my whole apartment is plastered in the picture of the interception. It's just ugh.
Which
Still
is
makes
like so funny to me as a Purdue graduate because you're like, that guy went to IU. You don't even know his name. Meanwhile, the Saints quarterback is Drew
yeah,
Brees,
right.
who literally took Purdue to a Rose
Yeah.
Bowl. And I don't even think Purdue did that. Like, I think like it was like he was the MVP, the whole reason they're there. We're like, whatever.
Yeah.
The thing burned in my memory from that is that onside kick. I hate
Oh, I
that
think about that all the
onside kick
time.
so much. And like
Yeah.
when Sean Payton got suspended for Bounty Gate, and everyone was like, this is
Yeah.
stupid. Even though I like did kind of think it was stupid, I was like, good. Like I just like
Yeah.
because I actually don't like Drew Brees, even though I went to Purdue. It's like I wasn't there
Really?
when no, why would I like him? He was the quarterback of the Saints. And
I
like
know.
he
I kind of
wasn't
like the Saints.
he
even though-
wasn't there when I was there. I was Kyle Wharton, Curtis Painter. Okay. So like
Sure.
I owe Drew nothing. But I actually love New Orleans as a city.
New Orleans
It's like
is my favorite city, so I
it's
can't
my
help it.
New Orleans
absolute
rules.
favorite.
Absolutely rules. Great city.
I don't dislike the Saints,
Mhm.
like especially now that they're bad. I like feel bad for them.
Yeah.
But so I've been able to like just contain it all in Sean Payton as a vessel, and that feels healthy.
Sure.
Definitely.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like Alvin Kamara. Like I like a lot of their guys now. I can't help myself. I love Taysom Hill. He's like a 50-year-old triple threat running back, quarterback, tight end. Every year they're like, he's gonna do it. He's injured for the whole season, but they're like, one game he's gonna score 7 touchdowns.
It just breaks fantasy though. There's like 8 letters next to his name in fantasy. Yeah. It's like kicker eligible and shit. Yeah.
It's also, I listen to a bunch of NFL fantasy podcasts, and every year they're like, Taysom Hill is going to be a cheat code this year. And it's like, he just never is. He had like 3 games where he's done it, and it's otherwise awful.
Yeah, the story you told, Tom, I feel like if a person is a Saints fan, they can do that. They can trash talk you and talk shit, whatever. But if the person is a neutral fan or not a fan, like that pisses me off so much. You can't
That's what it is.
You can't talk shit if it's not your team on the winning end of it, or you're not even a rival of the
exactly
Colts.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that's the neutral fan, because you're literally just doing it to be an imp.
Yeah.
I have a friend who did that who's a Bucks fan, and the second the Bucks lost to us, he all of a sudden was the biggest Knicks fan in the world. I was like, okay, man.
Yeah.
Like I get what you're doing.
Will you text me who that is?
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
So 2011, Peyton Manning gets injured for the entire season. Colts go 2-14. They draft Andrew Luck first overall out of Stanford, who ends up being pretty good. And Peyton Manning leaves as a free agent. I forgot they didn't trade him. He signs with the Denver Broncos, goes on to win a Super Bowl, even though he couldn't move his neck or throw. Yeah. It's kind of a weird.
Their defense was so good.
It's just like a full circle irony of like his whole career, he was so good and then would lose in the playoffs. And then the one year he can't throw anymore, he wins a Super Bowl. But so how did you feel during the kind of the rise of the Andrew Luck era and then seeing Peyton Manning winning a Super Bowl on another team? What did that feel like?
I always think of, I say that like we're the first wife and the Broncos are the second wife. So it's like, we're not going to get along. But I guess in that metaphor, when we had Luck, it was like, oh, okay, well, I've remarried someone hotter and younger.
Yes.
You know, like we're going to be fine.
That's exactly how it felt. Like we can get along because we've moved on.
We can do Christmases together. And so like we were still figuring it out. So when like the Broncos made it to the Super Bowls, because I think they went to 2.
They went to back-to-back, and they got embarrassed in the first one.
That was a really bad one. I was rooting for them.
Me too.
When Peyton left, like that press conference, I sobbed. And it was like truly devastating. And I think still kind of confusing as to like what exactly was the reasoning and ownership and all that. So I was very much like wanted Peyton to be successful and happy, but I went to the Broncos Colts game a few weeks ago and there were lots of Manning jerseys there, Broncos Manning jerseys.
Which
and it's
really
like,
funny.
You're dumb. Like, why are you doing that?
Because also you could be wearing a Colts Manning. It's such a weird. That happened at the Rams game I went to. They were selling Peyton Manning Colts jerseys outside of the stadium. I was like, what a weird thing to have. My buddy bought one. I was like, you're nuts. This is.
You mean Colts or Broncos?
Colts.
Oh, Colts. Okay.
So weird. Strange. Very weird.
But that's exactly how I was going to phrase it. Is like there was a bit of a letdown. It sucks to see it. It sucked to see him in another jersey and Irsay had his reasons, whatever, but the way they cut ties, there was clearly some bad blood about it, and he felt disrespected by the city that he was the mayor of. But we were all like, the reason we tanked, it was like the one time an Indiana team has successfully tanked to get Andrew Luck, and we did it, and we were all thrilled. We were like, we have the new Peyton Manning. That's gonna be awesome. Andy can run, and he's like classic football player. He's crazy, but he's also a genius. So we were all in on him, and part of what healed a lot of it was when they played each other and we won. That we were like, yeah, this is a passing of the torch. Like we did it. This guy's better, and clearly that did not end up being the case.
People forget too. Peyton Manning, he had serious neck surgery and was already in his like late 30s.
Yeah, we thought it was done.
Yeah,
we did not think he was going to play another snap.
There were stem cells. There was like baby deer blood. Like I think he traveled internationally to have injections. Like it was a very intense process.
Satanic rituals. Like they were doing all kinds of weird stuff.
I
For sure, but
support.
I remember thinking Peyton Manning is never going to play football again. Like
Mhm.
maybe he's going to the Broncos. Maybe he'll play a few. I thought he was going to have like what Aaron Rodgers had that first season with the Jets, where it's like he rolls out, plays one play, and it's like, okay, Peyton
He
Manning cannot play
can't.
football. And
Yeah.
then it turns out Aaron Rodgers still playing. But I feel like we kind of were all like bummed, but also optimistic, and we were like, that's the nature of the game. You can't have a guy play quarterback at 38 years old.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then we were proven wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, usually you're right. And he
Hmm.
just is one of the few, him and Brady. I think him and Brady really just kind of changed people's perception of how
Yeah.
possible that was. Because as you know, the Colts went on to sign Philip Rivers,
Yes.
Matt Ryan, and these guys,
Yeah.
they,
Yeah.
they just
We
were not
ironically ended up
Brady at
trying
40,
to dig up corpses out of the
Yeah.
ground
Like
much
Tom Brady's
later.
doing it. Like, yeah, I
Yes.
know he's the best
I
of all
also
time and
do.
is a huge anomaly.
Yeah, it's nature. There's different science stuff that like new medicine that can keep these guys playing longer. But in retrospect, I do think Peyton Manning would have been murdered behind our offensive line if he had played another game, because our offensive line was
Mm,
terrible for
which is
the
why,
entirety of the Luck
yeah,
era, which is why he quit
he's
football.
gone.
Like
Yeah.
our offensive line made Andrew Luck fall out of love with football.
Yeah.
It's
Fear for
brutal.
Yeah.
his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, him retiring early is speaking of anomalies, you just don't see that very often. A guy
And
retiring before he really had to.
And
and
that's the
that's
Good
the
worst
for
real
thing.
him.
curse.
That's the worst thing that's ever happened. Yeah.
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 We are
That was much
aligned on
worse than
that.
any Peyton loss
Yes.
than the AFC Championship in '95 was. Losing Andrew Luck the way that it went down is brutal, and it's like hurt feelings on all sides. He was
Hmm.
devastated by the reaction. We were devastated by him waiting until the preseason to announce his retirement, because if he had done it earlier, I don't blame. I think me and Megan are both on the side of like we aren't
We don't
mad at
know.
Andrew Luck
Yeah.
Hmm.
for retiring, because it's like, yeah, man, protect your brain. Like
Hmm.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
mind that, but the way he did it, I still am a little salty about. I don't like that they booed him at the game. I think that cursed us for real.
We are cursed because of
I
the
think
booing.
I think every Anthony Richardson injury is a direct result of
And
Colts fans
Tyrese
booing.
Halliburton, like
Yes.
it cursed the
Across
whole.
sports.
No,
Yeah.
it cursed the whole city. And I am very much of the. I have like family members who are like, fuck him.
Yeah.
I am
Oh, a
not
lot
in
of
that.
Colts fans are like that.
And I'm not even in like the how it went down with, because I genuinely think we don't know. And like I think
Hmm.
there's a world where he was like, hey guys, I don't really want to do this earlier. And the Colts are like,
Sure.
no, we'll figure it out. Ryan
Yeah.
Grigson promised him something. That was the GM that we all blame.
Have you listened to that Athletic podcast about it?
So I've read so much. I haven't listened to that. And like it's one of those things that gets brought up constantly in a way
Hmm.
that I'm like, we know everything we're going to know. Like, there isn't going to be anything new uncovered. You have to leave us in peace.
I do
Like,
think, like, because it was a conversation with him, and I feel
yeah,
like
no,
there
I
was
should listen.
stuff that
I should
it's really
listen.
good, and the guy who did it, Zach Kiefer, I think, is great, and it's a great. I mean, you don't get to hear him talk because he wouldn't let himself be recorded, but it's great.
Interesting.
But it shines some light. I think he was just iffy, and he just isn't interested in football anymore. And you're like, how is that possible? And then now he's on the staff at Stanford or whatever.
Stanford,
You're like,
yeah.
that's not true, but
Right.
it's tough. And it led to the worst, era of being a Colts fan of our lives. I think is
Yeah.
having to watch Matt Ryan
Philip Rivers,
and
Carson
Carson
Wentz.
Wentz, who had COVID
Elephant
brain,
graveyard of quarterbacks.
just
Yeah.
the worst. Like getting hyped up for guys that are just awful. Like
Hmm.
having to get
Yeah.
truly hyped up to watch Carson Wentz play football was really bad. And like the lowest period, I made another parody song for when Sam Ellinger started. I spent all day making a parody of the song "Linger" from the Cranberries with Sam Ellinger as the thing, and it's really detailed. It took me all day, and then the Colts famously put up 1 yard of offense in the first half after that game, and I was like, I don't think Sam Ehlinger is going to be the guy.
No.
Just brutal.
No, and we inevitably would go 8 and 9 and be in the playoff hunt until like the final boneheaded play, fill
the
in the
very
blank.
last we're throwing a pass to a backup receiver who hasn't, or a backup running back who hasn't touched the football field that day for our season on the line. Oh,
times 4. And so
Gardner
that was
Minshew,
really
like
and like I believe this, and I think Tom believes this too. It was like, oh, this is what we deserve because we were so unkind and inhospitable to this wonderful man who just didn't want to die.
Yeah.
Bad luck. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, looking back at all of this and the Manning era especially, do you look at it as, we are blessed to have one of the greatest players of all time? We were so lucky. Or as a Colts fan, you always kind of like, I feel like we left a lot of Super Bowls on the table and now we're kind of cursed.
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I feel both ways where I'm like, God, that was so, I can look back now and go, man, that was really cool that we got to have that. And I also feel like, God, I can't believe we only won 1 Super Bowl with a guy who everybody talks about as a top 2 greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah,
and that'll probably change with the Mahomes era and maybe with
and
Josh Allen
and Daniel Jones,
and of course Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel Jones is already doing things in his first 6 games as a Colt that Peyton Manning never did.
You're not lying. You're not lying.
Actually true.
More points than any Peyton team.
But the fandom changed. I will say, like, going through that QB shuffle and watching that 2-win year, I kind of, after we lost that Super Bowl, honestly, and I had to reevaluate my fandom and be like, this can't hurt me the way it's hurting me. And I thought that I had gotten better. And then when Gardner Minshew threw that pass, that I was like, I sulked for like 4 hours. And I was like, nope, it's all still in there. There's something broken in me that is not fixed.
Can't believe we got that name out.
Yeah.
I would say the thing that's actually changed my fandom across all sports is becoming a parent and specifically becoming a mom. And Tom has been critical of me in this way. A lot of other friends have.
Tom hates moms. We know.
We
went on a long rant. I cut it out at the beginning of the podcast.
What
I'm
we've
going
learned.
out to the field to help your fucking kid, man. You're embarrassing them.
I see all of these like guys and gals, depending on what I'm watching, as like my own child. So like when they do boneheaded things, I go, oh my God, they're like hurting, or like people are being so mean to them. Like there was this play that we referenced earlier, Goodson, dropped this ball and we would have gone to the playoffs, and we just like didn't go to the playoff because many other plays, but like you can highlight this one play. And I wept for him because I was like, oh my God, he feels awful. I know he feels alone. Like, who is helping him? And there was,
hey buddy, you're paid millions of dollars to catch a fucking football.
I know, and like that, but like it really did. Like I'm just like, it gives me like a pit in my stomach to feel like they feel alone. And so like that has really made me such a loser.
You've rubbed that off on me a little bit. Like I do feel that, and it's not just, it's getting older too. You just look at these guys and you're like, this is a 23-year-old or whatever. Like when the Pacers, I mean, not to bring it back to the Pacers one last time, but when Tyrese Halliburton went down, I wasn't like, oh my God, we're going to lose the game. I started crying because I was like, this kid.
Yeah.
Just could derail his career and life.
This kid is devastated. I also think, having like lived through this Tyrese situation, Malice at the Palace, which we like have only briefly mentioned. The luck.
That's for another day.
I'm a Purdue fan. We were the 1 seed and lost to a 16 seed in the first round. Like you almost like you can't hurt me now, because all of the worst possible things that a fan can experience, I feel like I've experienced. And Tom and I were talking about this earlier in the season of like, there's almost like a joy and like the stakes just feel lower now of like, oh, it's not borrowed time because we're like not dead, but I'm like, oh, I'm just like glad I get to watch a team and I can't put all of my energy into it because like when this turns off, I still have like 2 kids to raise that like need me to not be like, I can't believe Jonathan Taylor dropped that ball. Like, it's like, I just have to like keep going.
Are you gonna make dinner? Yeah.
But
I do think you should stay alive, Mom. Yeah.
I think they should have given you a break. When Adonai Mitchell fumbled that ball into the end zone celebrating against the Rams that cost us the game, I think that they should have been punished, your kids.
No, I think they should have let me FaceTime him and be like, you're a beautiful boy and this will not define you. And you're going to come back better from this. Because that's how I think I feel.
Yeah, I mean that's such a good human perspective, and I feel some of that myself just getting older and also being a parent. But I do also feel some of what Tom was saying, where then something happens and it just this part of you that you thought was dead comes out. Where you're just like, what? No, what? You know, and I don't know. Sports can like get to that find that one little piece of like irrational anger and emotion that's still inside of you. That it's like, oh my god, I'm
it never goes away.
And pissed off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will not take it out on my kid. I hope we'll see.
No, if anything, I've passed it to my kid.
That's the goal.
Yeah. Are you raising them to be Colts fans?
Yes, my son loves the Colts, loves the Pacers, loves the Fever. Like it's nice. He's been to many Colts games already, and he's 3. And yeah, I have accidentally taught him this is our Colts, this is our team. We bleed blue. And he's living. He's here for a year and yeah, he's been to 1 Rams game. And I'm like, if you want to be a Rams fan, that's fine. But that's like so stupid.
It is just like, it's barely a culture. It's just not like the LA football stuff is like, I'm going to raise my son to be a Colts fan for sure.
Yeah.
And the one thing I'm going to let him have, obviously he's going to be his own person. He can choose what he wants to, but I'm going to nudge him towards the Pacers, of course. The one team that I'll allow him to have as a LA fan is the Dodgers because I'm a Cubs fan. It just isn't. My wife doesn't care, and it just feels like whatever. You're gonna grow up in LA. You get to, but I can't be a Lakers fan. That's the one thing that will kill me is if he's a Lakers fan.
And my son does. Yesterday, I go, "Who's your favorite basketball player?" And he said, "Luka." And I was like, "Oh God, that's not what I thought you were gonna say, or I wouldn't have asked the question." So much of it too is like mascot tied. Like Blue, the Colts mascot, is awesome and
he's
like
the best mascot in the league.
And so
it's funny because he is funny, but it's mostly just that he does that hump. He does a weird
he also
hump
smashes pie. He smashes pies in people's face, which for a 3-year-old is not great, because my son is like, I'm gonna smash a pie in your face. I'm like, please don't. But
his
Blue,
nostril flare is really fun too.
Yeah, Blue is cool. Freddie Fever is awesome, and Boomer is sick too.
Yeah, Boomer's
those are
great.
Fever Pacers. Purdue Pete is terrifying, and my son hates him, which is so funny.
Have you interacted with Blue at some point in your life?
Yes, I
have.
Like
every quarterback, like
yes,
I had like a parent-teacher conference. You're like, oh yeah, we're just talking to Blue.
We went to Colts training camp, and I left to go pump in like a mom tent where you could go breast pump. And when I came back, my husband was like, Blue came up to meet Conrad, and he had all of these pictures. Blue sat down with my 3-year-old, put his arm around him, and they like snuggled at Colts training camp. And I missed it because I was trying to keep my other child alive with the blood and milk of my body.
Well, I mean, if there's not a clearer message that sports should trump everything, including keeping your children alive, I mean, there it is right there. So that is our show. Thanks again to Megan and Tom for coming on to talk about Peyton Manning and the Colts and all things Indiana. Folks, if you like the show, please leave an iTunes review or just tell some people about it. We're going to take a break for the holidays and be back hopefully early next year with some all new episodes. Thank you so much for listening, everyone.